everybody, I hope you're well. For those that you don't know me, my name's Veronica and I normally teach the Art Stars Saturday School class along with another teacher at Rosetta Art Centre. As obviously we can't hold the course at present, we thought it would be really beneficial if we did some online classes for you guys to cover the skills that we would have taught in the sessions. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk you through today a step-by-step activity. You can do it at the same time as me, and then I'm going to set you a little activity to go off and do yourself afterwards at home. And what I thought we could do today is a still life observational drawing, which is going to be focused on line pressure, shading and toning, and adding intricate detail on, and yeah, just drawing from life, really observing and studying what we're looking at. So a still life drawing is a picture of something that's not living, that's still, and it's observational. Observation meaning that we're looking at what we're drawing as much, if not more, as we're looking at our paper. So we're looking at the object, the subject matter, constantly referring back to it. So I've had a look in my kitchen and I've got some lemons and kiwi fruits. I thought lemons would be good to draw because we've got the dimpled skin that we can copy, and lots of different lines and marks and textures on there. And a kiwi, it's got the little hairs on, and again, really interesting marks and textures on its surface. So you're going to copy me step by step. So you're going to draw a lemon and a kiwi fruit as well, and it should, when you're finished, look a little bit like this. And then when you're finished, I'm going to ask you to go off and do your own drawing of maybe some fruits or some vegetables, whatever you've got in the house, and you'll apply the skills that you've learnt with me now to your drawing. So I hope that all makes sense. But like I say, you're gonna follow me step by step now, and then I'll set the other task afterwards and we can summarize. Okay, so what you're going to need is a pencil, make sure it's nice and sharp, a rubber if you've got one, some paper, some A4 white paper like this, and we're going to work landscape way up today. So this is landscape, this is portrait. We're going to work landscape so we can fit all of the detail in on the side. I'm just resting on some books so everything's clear for you, so it's elevated a bit, but if you can, try and work flat on a table. And yeah, so I've got my kiwi and my lemon here. I'm just going to set them up so I can see them. They're down here, so if you just copy me step by step here, how I'm going to draw them. Oh, and to start, a little activity. On one side of your paper, we're going to do a little warm-up exercise. It's going to help us with our line pressure. So what you're going to do is a row of really dark pencil lines, really super dark. Really pressing your pencil down here. Just like that. So do you want to draw me some nice dark pencil lines across your page? Doesn't matter how many you do, just do a few along. Fantastic. And then when you've done that, underneath, can you do me a row of pencil lines that are a medium line, not a dark one? So I'm applying a little bit less pressure, slightly less pressure than I did above. Just some medium pencil lines. Like I said, there's no set number, just keep doing them for a few seconds. So we've got a row of dark, a row of medium, and we're going to do a row of light pencil lines. The light pencil lines we want to be really super light. We're not applying hardly any pressure. So if we make a mistake, we can rub these out really easily, and these are the ones that we use when we start doing a drawing. If you can see them. I'm going to make mine marginally slightly darker just so you guys can see, but when you're doing yours, if you just make them as light as you possibly can, that would be fantastic. Okay, now I'm just going to arrange my fruit. We've got a nice sheet of A4 paper here. I'm going to turn it over onto the other side so our lines are on our opposite side. I want to make this nice and big, so we've got the whole page and we want to fit all the detail in, so we're going to make this nice and big. And to start, do you want to do, I'm going to rest my hand on the table to do this. Hold my pencil nice and low so I've got a lot of control. I'm going to start for the lemon by doing a nice big circle like that. So do it very lightly in pencil. I'm going to make mine a little bit darker than yours should be, just so it's easier for you to see. But we want to flesh it out. We want to do it really lightly in pencil, and also if we do it lightly in pencil, that can give us more confidence to work on a large scale, because it doesn't matter if we make a mistake. And even if we don't have a rubber and we make a mistake, if it's done really lightly in pencil, then we can just work into it and make any changes. There we go. So a nice big circle for the lemon. And now we want to define this shape as well, this lemon shape. So at the side of my circle, I'm going to draw, it's a bit like it was a little bird, like a little long oval shape that comes out. Looks a bit like a bird's head of a beak, doesn't it? So that's the front. And then we've got at the back of the lemon, we've got from where it was picked, we've got where the stem would have been. So I'm just going to do an oval, shade it in with a dark pencil line. And then from there, I'm going to do a little clear oval and shade in the middle using a medium line. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to shade in our lemon. We're going to use our really light pencil line now. So when we were practicing on the back, we did the dark, the medium, the light. I want you to use a really light line, and you're just going to shade. You're not going to scribble. We're going to do it nice and slowly. The lines close together, moving in one direction. So don't go up and down and across. Just move in one direction. I'm going vertically, and you can use a finger to blend. So use one finger to smudge. If you're smudging, please try and contain it to the shape. Don't spread all over the page, and just be careful because your finger's going to be have a bit of lead on it. So be careful not to put your finger all over the page. And I'm doing it really carefully. I'm holding it low down, like I say, so I've got more control. I blend with my finger as I go, and we're going to shade in all of the lemon using this light pencil line. There we go. So we're going to cover the whole lemon. Like I say, make it nice and light, because we're going to add some darker lines on there too. We want to show the shadow, and when we show shadow in our work, it can make it look three-dimensional. Then it can add more dimension. So just going to shade really lightly, and as well we want to add some of these lovely dimples on that the lemon's got on its skin, and if it's too dark they won't show up very easily. So just spend a minute shading, going right to the edges, blending with our finger as we go, nice and controlled, nice and slow. Take as long as you need to do this. Obviously I'm trying to do it a little bit quicker just because you guys are watching at home, but if you've obviously got a bit longer than me, so please don't rush. Take your time. Keep moving in one direction, holding the pencil really low. Vertical lines right up to the edge. It's actually very therapeutic doing this, I find, very relaxing. And as well, if you do it very lightly in pencil, your hand's not going to get as tired from doing it as if you were really pressing down. Like I say, if you rest your hand, the side of your hand on the table, or whatever you're drawing on a flat surface, it's a good way to rest your hand as well while you're doing it. shaded in. And you'll find that when you're shading like this and adding a block area of colour, it really defines what you're drawing. It really defines it, really makes it stand out, and like I say, adds dimension. So it looks less 2D. Blend it, there we go. I'm just going to do this bit at the front. There we go. So there's my lemon. And now I'm going to add some of the detail on. Now, I said this before, this is so important when we're drawing anything from life and we want it to look realistic. We want to look at what we're drawing as much as we look at the paper, if not more. We want to be constantly looking up and observing what we're drawing. So obviously, like I said, the lemon's got some really interesting dimples and lines in the skin. So I want to show this. I want to show these little marks and textures. So I'm just going to put lots of different shaped dots, some bigger, some smaller, all over my lemon. When you're doing this, try not to stab your pencil down like this, because we don't have much control then. And it can look a bit messy. So just use your hand, rest your hand on the table. We can take our time, just draw on all the different dimples. Some are slightly bigger, some are smaller. So obviously you guys are just copying me now. I'm observing my lemon as I do this, and you just copy as I do. So just put lots of dimples all over your lemon, and I can see a curved line in the side. When I draw, I look really closely at what I'm drawing. I keep on referring back to it. Keep on referring back to your object, because you find sometimes when you're drawing, you imagine something to look a certain way. You imagine something's a certain shape or lines go a certain way, but when you look, you sometimes see it's not always, especially if you're, say, drawing people, which we'll be doing later on in a few weeks, you'll realise that things aren't always how you envisage in your head. You think it looks a certain way, but then when you really look closely, it's different. So drawing is all about looking. Constantly referring back, looking at what you're drawing. I'm doing this again, I'm being a bit quick with this because I know you're watching at home and I don't want to make it boring by spending too long doing it. So you can obviously take your time. It might be an idea to watch the video over more than once. There we go. So I put the textures on my lemon. Now I want to focus a little bit on the shadow. So that's my lemon. I've used my light line. I want to have more of a slightly more medium line coming down here, because this is where the shadow's hitting. So I'm just going to go over the top again and make it slightly darker. Like I say, medium line. We still want the dimples we've drawn to show. So looking really closely, I can see the shadow hitting at the top. And at the side as well. So made it slightly darker there. And across the top. Obviously when you're drawing, this would be different depending on whatever angle your objects are at and where the light's hitting as well, how the shadow's being formed. And then after I've drawn that, I'm just going to blend in a bit with my finger so we see less of the pencil line and just the colours blending together. There we go. And that is our lemon. Now I want to show you the kiwi fruit as well, because that's quite an interesting, got quite interesting texture. So I'm just mapping out with my hand where it's going to go. Just keep looking, how's it positioned? Goes down here. So drawn that lightly in pencil, a long oval shape, obviously smaller than the lemon, standing on its side. It's a dark brown colour, obviously the lemon was yellow, so I want to show that as being a bit darker. So I'm going to use a medium line to shade it in. Not too dark, not dark, just medium. I'm going to shade in my oval in medium for my kiwi. So just drawing a long oval next to the lemon and then shading it in, still doing the blending. Still same rules, moving in one direction as you draw. Trying to get it so there's no bits of white showing. Nice and controlled. Going right up to the edges, very slow when we get to the edges, following the curve of the shape around. Rubbing as we go. There, just going to shade it in. And especially as we've got it slightly darker there, the lemon that I've drawn is leaning into the kiwi fruit a bit. And as it's darker, then they stand out a bit more, they contrast a bit against each other. There we go. It's got the lemon and the kiwi fruit. At the top of the kiwi fruit I can see where the stem would have been, where it was picked. So I'm just going to draw, using a dark line, an oval shape near the top, and then a smaller oval inside that, and just shade it in. Okay, and now I just want to show some of this lovely texture on the kiwi. So I'm just with my pencil, I'm just going to draw lots of dark lines over the top. Similarly to the lemon, just maybe slightly bigger, a bit darker as well. We want them to be really prominent because the dimples in the lemon are more kind of indented in, quite light, whereas these are dark, they're very prominent, very clear. I'm just going to blend again with my finger, just so it all merges together. There we go. And last thing, I just want to add a bit of shadow on. So when you're doing your own pictures later, when you're drawing the fruits or the vegetables you've got around the house, this will depend on how you're looking at them, like I say, what angle they're at. Just really squint your eyes, look closely at where the shadow is forming. So I'm sitting, it's quite a sunny day today, I'm sitting on a table and I've got my fruit on a white sheet of paper, and the sun through the blinds is hitting from a certain angle, so I can see the shadows moving in this direction. I'm shading using a light pencil line, doing a lot of blending here, and there's darker and lighter areas of the shadow, so it's getting a bit darker towards the edges here. Finish. And like I say, really observe when you're drawing. So when you're shading in the shadow, is it darker in some points? Is it lighter? How are you going to show that with your pencil line? You're going to apply more pressure, less pressure in certain areas. Just going to blend. And there we go, I've got my lemon and my kiwi fruit. So what I'd like you to do now, I want you to, like I say, follow this video with me. So have a go at doing a kiwi and a lemon. And now you can go off and see what you've got in the house. So choose maybe 2 or pieces of fruit or vegetable to draw. So potatoes are good, leeks, cucumbers, tomatoes, lemons, apples, whatever you've got. I know we're all going to have different things. So 2 or 3 pieces, depending on what you've got. And if you want a little challenge, maybe you could try getting a bowl out and arranging them in the bowl, and doing an observational drawing of a still life of a fruit bowl. And just think about how you're going to arrange them as well. So how are they going to sit next to each other? Keep on, when you're drawing, referring back, keep on looking up at what you're drawing, look at where the shadow is forming, and look really closely at the detail. Remember to start with a light pencil line. Think about your lighter areas, your darker areas, how adding them is going to add dimension, and just look at what you're drawing as much as you look at the actual drawing itself, look at your objects as much. Okay, I'll see you soon, take care.